From the great halls of their house, there are assembled three who hope to one day be the world's greatest driving heroes. Created from the cosmic legends of the universe comes our team captain, the Vision, Bill Fisher. Their soon-to-be Wonder Woman, Vicky Fisher. Our Captain Marvel and head flight trainee, Jennifer Skripchuk. And our Batman, the master of tools, gadgets, and all things mechanical, our mild-mannered soon-to-be billionaire, Alan Danvers. Their mission, to fight injustice, share what is right and wrong, to get you out of your house and come out racing with them, and serve all mankind. They are the Garage Heroes in Training Team.
Captain's Log Supplemental.
Miss Vicky.
Yes, sir.
You know what?
What?
I've been thinking about this Sentinel system.
Yeah. Tell me about the Sentinel system.
So what I was thinking was, we have the one car that's got the aim dash that's slowing us down. Because installing the aim dash is actually, it probably is easy, but it's quite hard the first time. And we haven't figured that out yet. The Sentinel system is really easy to set up. So what I was thinking was, why don't we put it in the Lemons car? And we'll worry about the aim data information separately. And we'll kind of break it down into a project. Because then we'd have the motorsports video system that we really, really want, and we'd be able to stream it. We just won't have the data inside, but we have the data outside, so we can combine them later. But I think that's a really good solution.
So what does this Sentinel system do?
Well, if it had the aim data, it would have all the data on the screen, and you could see all their telemetry and everything live. But we'd be able to not only record it for viewing after the race, but we could actually watch our car during the race.
Ooh, like on the monitor and everything?
On a monitor, if you were at home and I was at a track, or if you were at the track and I was at home, depends on who gets the short straw, but we'd be able to watch each other.
It's something I've always wanted to do.
And you know what? If you're driving, you know what you can do on the Sentinel system?
What's that?
You can communicate to me with your hands, and I can't do a thing about it.
Even better.
So, if you need to give a wave or a jersey wave, whatever you need, we could save it and see it on the screen. And then you can have up to 3 different cameras, and it'll have picture in picture. You'll have the basic main shot out the front window, and then 2 cameras where you put them wherever you want. One could be on the driver, or one could be on the rear view. It's kind of cool.
Then we can upload it onto YouTube.
We could bore millions of people on YouTube.
I love it.
All right. Very well. You know what the only downside I see about this?
What?
Your mom and my mom are going to be panic-stricken the entire weekend watching this thing to see if everything's going well.
This is true.
We probably shouldn't tell them.
I like the idea of having a Sentinel.
Mm-hmm. Well, luckily we have maybe 2. Depends on how things go. We're going to try. All right. That sounds like a plan. That's the project. We got to get that ready for the next race.
Sounds great.
All right. Very well. Thank you, ma'am. Ben Dawson. I was watching some racing today. Actually, I was watching racing all weekend. It was a very good weekend. We had a lot of good racing. Good. And some of the things that the people did, after the crash was not helpful.
Okay.
So I thought, it might be a good idea for us to go over post-crash tips, things you need to know.
What you're supposed to do, things you ought to do.
This would be better than kicking your car, making gestures at fellow drivers as they go by,
Wait, back me up just a little bit. Now, where and when was this?
Kicking the car?
Yeah, was this all one thing?
No, that kicking. I watched 3 different racing series, and I was watching.
Okay. You're talking about pros. Nobody did this in Lemons.
No,
Lemons driver. Because I remember seeing a guy at Petit Le Mans do this. He got out of his BMW, like it was the Bimmerl or Turner team, so some high level BMW racing team. This guy gets out and he slams the door so hard it pops back open. There's none of these doors weigh anything, so he slams it like a streetcar door, and it pops back open. He slams it again or whatever. It was just, the commentator is just ripping the guy, and he comes off looking like a total tool. Like, I don't know how many more times he got to drive with his team. But if I was the owner of that team, I might be like, hey, we'll find somebody else.
The one gentleman that I was watching race today, he I didn't see the incident. I just saw the post incident, and I think he may have had a slight concussion because apparently he thought his car was a football, and the game was about to start, and he was trying to kick it off, and I'm not sure that went so well.
Yeah, I hope it hurt his foot.
Maybe. So
you don't do that. You don't do that. What do you do, Bill?
That's not going to help. I don't know, Miss Vicky. Have you ever had a crash?
I have not had a crash, although I have gone off, but I've never had a crash. But I know those that have, and I do have to say that the first one is quite traumatic, for sure. Usually it is. And from what it was explained to me on more than one occasion, was that after the first one, you are very much on guard, and your racing is a lot less riskier for a very long time.
Tentative.
Until something else happens. And then after a little bit of dealing with that, you realize that it's like a Band-Aid, as it was explained. It was like a Band-Aid being ripped off.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yes. So, yeah, so, from what I understand, it was like the Band-Aid was being ripped off. And it was almost like a decompression, because you have to understand that, when you're racing, somebody had told me it's not, if you're going to crash, it's going to be when you're going to crash, whether it's going to be yourself or whether you're involved in something. At some point,
if you're going to hit something, it's a win.
Right. So you do have to make peace with that part of it. Don't go looking for it.
It's not the goal.
Well,
it's not the goal.
But I mean, part of your driver development, part of the time you spend, one of the benefits of spending a ton of time doing DEs is you get good at reading other driver and car body language. You kind of get a better idea of what's about to happen here. What is this person going to come up past? What do they wish they were going to do here? What are they going to end up doing? What are they going to try to do? Like, you just kind of build a data set of likely behaviors, and that will help you. That helps you avoid a lot of things. You're right. It's a calculator.
It really does. You can see, you can actually see the potential of something that could happen with particular drivers after you've followed them around the track. You know which ones are way riskier, and those are probably in your learning curve, depending on whether
crashed.
Right.
But once you have crashed, what are we gonna do? Do you get out of the car, Mickey?
No, you stay in the car. Do not get out of the car.
For no reason.
Do not. Well, except for if you're on fire.
That's
there's a fire. That's a good reason for you
to. What about
if
you're upside down at such an angle that you can smell and feel fuel dripping down your butt crack all into your driver's seat?
Yes, I would say get out of the car. No, I would say get out of the car.
That's another good time we'll get out.
Yes.
And if the officials ask you, like, hey, your car wasn't on fire, but you were upside down, why'd you get out? We're like, well,
I had gas in my butt crack.
Come sniff my suit for 2 distinct smells and tell me why I got out.
That's I've got so many jokes.
That's good.
I'm going to keep moving. Moving on. Good. So what do you do if the car is on fire?
If the car's on fire, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to get myself out as quickly as I can, worried about my body, worried about my human body. I'm not worried about the car. Once I get out, if I can somehow a fire extinguisher pops into my hand and I'm qualified to use it, maybe I'll try to stop the car from being on fire. But you need to worry about your physical corporal form on this earth first.
Absolutely.
You guys agree?
Absolutely. 100%.
So there's people, your entry fee covered an army of little people that come run out and check on you in your car. So this is the moment where they're going to spring into action. You pay for this, they're going to fix it. They're going to make sure you're okay. They're going to get your car out of harm's way, put it out if it's on fire. And they'll do the best they can to salvage what's left of your car once they understand that you are going to be okay to get home to your family. So that's what you do. But I mean, for the most part, you have a pretty mundane crash where there's not a fire involved. Because let's be clear, I'm trying to think. I don't know. I've seen one car catch on fire after a crash at a race, and I've been doing this stuff for more than 10 years. So I would say we talk about fire like it's common or like it's something to be worried about. Be ready for it, but you don't see it. Most of the time, you see a wreck, somebody's going to end up off track in a car that's not on fire. In that case, you need to try to, if you can't see a corner worker and the car will still move, at least position the car where you can see a corner worker, or stay in the car. But you want to stay in the car belted in.
Belted in. I was just going to bring that up. Stay belted
in. Stay belted in, sitting in your car. Because if somebody comes along, if you slid off because there was some oil, it's likely somebody else is going to slide off in that same place and might end up in the same spot where you are and hit you. Like they hit the grass, they're sliding. There's not anything they can do to not hit you. So somebody might slide into you. Especially if your incident is predicated on a track condition. Does that make sense?
Right. And if you happen to be close to the track.
Sure. So yeah, you're even more likely in that situation. So stay in there, keep all your safety gear belted in, and wait for the instructions from the track crew. Let you know if you went off, if the car's still fine, they'll let you know when it's safe to re-enter the flow of traffic. Or if you're disabled, you're gonna have to sit there and wait for a record. It's embarrassing. It sucks to sit there and wait while the traffic laps. You're like, when is that record coming? Because this guy came by and flipped me off like 5 times. How many laps are they going to come by? And the same guy going to come by like,
Yep. We refer to it in our circuit as the toe of shame.
Hook.
Yeah. So
hook.
Wait for
the hook of shame, the hook of shame, the toe of shame.
And let me be clear just about what might happen when the emergency workers pull up. A lot of times, if your car will roll, it doesn't have to go up on the rollback. They're going to want you to sit in the car. They're going to hook a big strap to it. And what they're going to want you to do. So this is another post-crash tip. Is here's how you do this redneck thing that not everybody knows how to do. Hey, they're gonna be like, hey, drag the brake. They're just gonna go jump in the truck. What they mean is they want to get the car going. So they're gonna start the truck, and you sit there hard on the brake. They're gonna drive the truck up until the tow strap gets tight, and then they're gonna kind of give you a hand signal or something like that. And you come up off the brake a little bit. So all you're doing is holding enough brake pressure to keep that rope tight. So it feels like you're dragging the truck back as you're getting the tow. If you're getting a strap tow. Have you guys done this before?
Yep.
Yeah.
I did.
So I don't know. I mean, I just happened to kind of grow up in Alabama and it felt like I knew what they were talking about. Maybe everybody does or doesn't. But when they say drag the brake, they want to yank that rope tight and then start pulling you. And then want to keep that rope as tight as they can because if the rope starts sagging or dropping down, then it's going to be a bunch of like yanking you.
It's going to be a jerk fest all the way.
Yeah.
Well, that didn't come out right.
So
maybe it did.
We're gonna push past that. We're gonna force our way through here. I thought I would use some more suggestive language. No, but the idea is to maintain the pressure on that big toe strap until they get you to your pit spot. And and there may be some bobbles, there may be some times where it fails, and there may be some times where the tow truck race drivers will have to adjust it to your style. But that's what they're talking about. So that's just another mechanical post crash tip for you.
I'm not saying I'm an accomplished professional racing driver. But
drag the brake was on the list. Sorry.
I have dragged the brake down the corkscrew. That was not fun.
Illustrious.
Not fun. Not fun at all.
Yep.
Mr. Dawson, I know Vicky well, maybe she did. She might have had one where she had a hit coming and it's coming and there's not a lot you can do about it. Like the wall and you are going to have a conversation, perhaps a impressive conversation. Is there anything that you might like to do in preparation?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think the one hard wall hit I can think of, I don't think I did the right thing, but the right thing to do is to get your hands off the wheel. Once you realize this hit is coming and there's nothing that me and the steering wheel are going to do to change that, you need to let go of the wheel because when the car makes impact, the wheel gets wrenched in whatever direction the front wheels get pushed by the impact. So that wheel is going to be spinning at a rate that's likely faster than you and your hands can spin it, and you might snap your thumbs off. So you always hear people talk about, if you're doing DE or race driving, kind of drive with your thumbs outside the wheel, don't lock your thumbs into the wheel anyway. And this is kind of what they're talking about. I'm not sure how often it's ever happened. I've never known anybody who's, monkey gripped the wheel to the wall and then broken their thumbs, but there's certainly potential to damage your hands. So I was hoping that maybe Bill could throw into the show notes. So there's a great example of this from when Danica Patrick was driving NASCAR. Do you know what I'm talking about, Bill?
I do. I don't have the link, but I'll find it.
I'm sure it'll be easy enough to find. She does a great example of some super speedway or some big, mile and a half track or some kind of thing where once you've lost it in a NASCAR going 180 and your tires have lost the grip, you ain't getting that NASCAR back. That thing is a missile under its own control. So, she sees the wall coming and she just I think she either crosses her arms and grabs her harnesses or just hooks her thumbs into her harnesses. But she gets her hands out of the way and kind of secures them out of the way with her harnesses. And then when the hit happens, she's, less flailing around. There's not a bunch of stuff flailing around. And I mean, the hit's coming. The hit is sad. The hit sucks. But, she was cognizant enough of what was going on to realize, like, well, I'm not preventing this hit from happening at this point. So I need to protect my corporal form on this earth.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
Live to race another day.
Always good
to
race
break both your arms or your hands. You're not going to be able to race. You're not be ready to race.
This is true. You'll be done for a while.
You're going to miss your next stint for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so let's talk about post crash. You're now back in the paddock area. What could you do and what should you do?
What you could do, you could run around and tell everybody what you think happened and be real mad about it and go complain to the team you think did it to you. And you could also just jump right immediately into trying to fix the car. You could wonder why your head feels so weird, but keep on turning that wrench. You could go get a sandwich. You could go take a crap. You could immediately engage in an off-track betting, which you've been ignoring the whole time you were in the car. So many other things you could do. Have I named all the right things to do yet, Bill?
You've named several things to do.
Yep.
Not sure we've hit the right ones. Not sure we've hit the right ones just yet.
I think I'm thinking pretty clearly. I've had this big wreck. I think everything's fine. I mean, yes, I'm wearing a wedding dress. Don't worry about the wedding dress.
Yes, but that's standard. We're just Miss Vicky, help me.
Well, you know what? You should go get a medical check.
What if it didn't hurt, Miss Vicky?
No,
I feel fine.
I'm fine.
Yeah. Yes, you feel fine. But in all honesty, they're probably going to want to come and check on you anyway. But if not,
wait. Let me stop you there. No, they're not.
No, they're not.
I've never been to a track where somebody's like, "Hey, we need to get you to come take a look at that licky." I just don't want anybody to be assuming that these guys will come hunt me down. It's never happened to me ever. Like the couple times where I've needed to seek help, I've gone to the medical shed or whatever and said, "Hey, I just had a hit. Can you guys kind of check me out and make sure my eyes are moving the right way or whatever?"
I will say that we had an incident, and Kathy from Lucky Dog came over and said, "Thou shalt be going to the medical tent to be checked out."
Good. So, I love her. God, I love her.
She's awesome.
Don't expect that. That's not the standard. Take care of yourself. If you had a big enough impact, go see the medical professionals. And if you think your helmet made contact with anything hard, like a roll bar, if you think there's a chance that your helmet might have touched a bar in the car, replace your helmet.
It's now an ornament for your desk.
It's now a fueling helmet. It's okay to use it for fueling, but if you've dropped your helmet off the workbench, it's a fueling helmet. So take care of your helmets. But if you even have a question that helmet might have contacted a bar, it's over. I hate it. You're gonna have to miss your next couple of races if money's tight, but you have to replace your helmet if it's had a big impact.
Yeah. So our general rule is if the car has, a dented fender, okay, no big deal. But if the car is bent or the car is broken, the driver needs to go get checked.
That's a lot of force through the car and the driver, right?
Right. So if it's more than, I pushed in the fender a little bit, or, the I got a donut on my door, but if the car is bent, and especially specifically, I'm thinking about when the car was bent front to back, left to right, and up and down. In a caged car, that's not an easy thing to do, people. So
you got jacked the fuck up.
Okay, that works as well. Yes. So go get checked. Err on the side of going to get checked. It's okay.
Absolutely.
It's not a problem. You still have your man card or your woman card or your race car driver card or whatever. Go get checked. It's not a bad thing, because what happens is you got a lot of adrenaline. You were just racing a car, so you've automatically got adrenaline. Then you just drove your car into something or someone or somehow or something. You have more adrenaline. And then a couple hours later,
you're on the drive home when the crippling pain hits, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Miss Vicky, do you have a story to tell?
Yes. So, yes, my sister had gotten into a wreck at, I keep getting the California tracks mixed up. Charlotte, Roval.
Not in California. For those
not in California, yes. So she ended up hitting the wall twice, the back end and the front end, and she was not seated properly in the seat itself because, which is another topic we should go over, is
it might not have been tight enough. Yeah.
Yes. So not sure if it wasn't tight enough or the seat was not specifically fitted for her, but in the process she broke 2 ribs, and but they thought it was only like a bruise or a fracture until she got into the RV and had to drive several hours home, which all the bouncing had caused her to probably take those fractures and make them into breaks. So yeah, it's best to just go ahead and go get evaluated, because you don't know. She knew she was sore, but she didn't know to the degree that she was sore until she had to go get checked.
Let me ask you this question. What's the copay at the track medical shed?
Oh, it's absolutely free.
I thought it was track? Crippling copay. I thought you had to pay a whole lot extra. Oh, really? So there's no cost to it?
If there's one there.
No reason for me not to go.
No reason not to go. But she went over to the hospital too.
Yeah, she ended up going to the clinic.
I'm sure she needed further treatment, but I'm just saying, you, Jabroni listener, you take a shot at the track. Go see the medical people. There's no cost to it. People are going to think you're smart. Nobody's going to think you're a wuss or a dum-dum. It's people see you going to check yourself out at the medical center. They'll think, wow, something crazy must have happened. That's pretty smart.
Mm-hmm.
No problem. Do it. Got to do it.
You know what else?
And then I was going to say, the thing that's coming next was one of the things that sparked me to go into the care center one time was checking in with my wife after a crash. She said, what did they say at the medical care center? I said, gotta go. I'll let you know in a minute.
Yeah. Yep. Don't get into a crash and go get everything checked out and fix your car and tow it home and show up and then let your significant other know that this happened. It's probably not going to go well for you.
What do you think is the better way for your partner to find out? Through you promptly letting them know about it and letting them know that there's no reason to panic about your corporal form and its condition, or through a social media picture of your wrecked ass car that they see before they ever hear from you about it? I'm just saying, one way right, one way wrong. Which way?
Yeah. See, I'm lucky in that, 9 times out of 10, Miss Vicky's right there with me, so she'll know all about it. But there are
you got your accomplice right there.
Yeah. There are times where I've gone to the racetrack, and if something bad were to happen, I think before I go to the hospital, if I am awake, I will be calling my lovely bride and saying, "You won't believe what this dum-dum did." So,
holy shit, check this out.
Yeah,
and I would be like, "Tell me a story."
Yeah, or my many friends who know Vicky's phone number will be calling her saying, "You're an idiot." Yeah. So, yeah. Oh, I got to tell you a story. We got a story, Pat. Story time.
Story time.
So, I went to, I think it was a NASA Great Lakes HPDE event, and I'm in my son's car because we just had trouble with my car. So I'm in the Toyota 86. And someone else in our HPDE crashes into one of the road Armcos. Nice 86, same color. It was awesome. So I text back to the family the picture of that car. But nice. I don't say anything else, and no comments or anything. But Vicky's on there, Liam's on there. That wasn't my best plan.
Cruel.
Wasn't my best plan.
So cruel.
Nope, not good.
Not recommended. I didn't even realize it was the same car.
I hope it went over like a fart in a spacesuit, dude.
Oh no! I'm not sure it went over that well.
Oh shit!
Not that well. Yeah. So anyway, there's that. Funny. Okay. So as we've talked about in other things, mistakes are things that happen. And the biggest part of a mistake that makes it really a mistake is if you don't learn something from it. So we got a crash. We have now paid all the price. Well, some of the payments will be coming forward soon, but now we have paid into, we might as well learn something from this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Once it's done, you can't just go ahead and stick your head in the sand. You got to try to figure out what happened and why, right?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Don't waste the money and time and pain that you just put through and not learn something. Talk to a friend. In some racing series, you're going to have to go talk to the officials if you can, and
go over video.
Be honest about it. Sometimes you caused it. Sometimes it was a combination of things that caused it. Sometimes the track can cause it. Sometimes, but try to learn something from it.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. I agree. A mistake is a gold mine for learning and development if you choose to tap into it.
Or you can do it again.
Keep making the same. I was going to say, do it over and over again and never learn from it.
You get really good at it that way, though, Ben.
You get good at the mistake, right?
I can make this car hit that wall. You wouldn't believe how easy it can be. So, yeah.
Yep.
It's funny. There's a series of, I listened to a rewatch podcast about the HBO show The Wire from about 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this cop who's a big time drunkard, and there's a series, one of the episodes in the second season that I'm listening to these guys talk about right now, where he's riding around because he's a cop in Baltimore. He's riding around getting drunk, and he makes this turn. He makes a turn in his Chevrolet Corsica, and he hits a bridge piling. But not hard enough to disable his car. He just bends the fender up pretty good.
Right.
So then he goes and sets up the exact same turn again, drunk. This crazy drunk cop sets up the exact same curve, tries it harder, hits the exact same bridge piling harder. I'm not sure what he learned, but yeah, he was the exact. It's McNulty. McNulty makes the same mistake, and then he magnifies it. Then he goes on to a diner, and then he has sex with a waitress. I'm not sure what the point of the story is. He does crash he crashes the car the same way twice. It's like, what are you doing, dude? So that you're gonna be a McNulty, probably minus the hot sex with the waitress if you keep making the same mistake over and over again.
Ben.
Yes,
I'm reading the doc, and I know we've got 13 bullets on this one. I don't see the waitress part on this.
Oh, sorry, I might have added that. I forgot to put it in, Doc. I'm not sure I have. Do I have editing powers on this? I didn't even know if I had editing powers.
You do. I was just okay. I'll add it to the show notes. Okay, back to the episode.
Thanks. Yeah.
There's an important part of the post crash thing, and I've seen some people who have crashed and hung up their hat and don't do it again, but you really have to prepare to get back out there and hopefully get back out there pretty quickly.
I mean, I think sometimes a crash is a confirmation of somebody, is a culmination of somebody's exploration, like, is this for me? And then they do the crash and think it's not. And that's okay. It's okay to stop.
It is
I don't
okay.
want to shame anybody for stopping.
But it shouldn't be an automatic stop.
No, it shouldn't be. I just wanted to put that out there that sometimes a crash coincides with somebody's mental exercise of, is racing for me? And sometimes it's just the thing that predicates them leaving. It's okay if that's the end of your journey, it's fine.
Yeah, it can be. But if you like it, and
yeah,
no shame.
Crashes can be scary. Crashes can be, hey, you did something wrong. That doesn't necessarily mean you suck. Right. It just means you pushed a limit and you went a little too far.
Mm-hmm.
Or sometimes
I've done
bad
multitudes
stuff
of
happens.
stuff. Sometimes it's not about you. Sometimes it had nothing to do with you too. And,
right.
And you can still get swept up in the shame spiral. Even if somebody takes you out. I mean, a lot of times it's the case that I'm driving somebody else's car, so sometimes something bad happens to their car, even if it's outside of my control. Like, I mean, I was the fastest car in a lemons race one time in CMP, driving the Hoopty Corn, the legendary Ken Block Mustang style thing that the Knox Vegas lowballers had. Mm-hmm. So I was so honored to get to drive this car, and I'm coming out of that big carousel at CMP, and I go step out of line to pass somebody on the inside, and this person didn't attend the rookie meeting, so they saw a faster car coming, and they jumped out of line right and just steered right into me. It was one of the most violent wrecks I've ever had, and the car was done for the weekend. It's fixable for later, but it was done for the weekend. I felt terrible. Even though I didn't force that lady to turn into me and hit the hell out of their car. Sometimes the shame spiral might involve something bad happening to your car. Something bad happened to somebody else's car, even though it's nothing that you did. I didn't hypnotize that lady and make her miss the rookie meeting and drive like an asshole.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, there's a lot of layers to making mistakes and recover from your crash, and that's really, I mean, in this instance, we were all pretty experienced racers, so our post-crash tip was hitting the junkyard and trying to do whatever we could to salvage the car, which we couldn't, but we tried. That was our big coping mechanism, was to jump back on fixing the car and seeing what we could do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I think the thing is, it's not necessarily the end, and it's not necessarily your fault.
It shouldn't have to be. It shouldn't have to be, but it's okay if it is. But it's a big upset, a big crash, or something like that, a mistake. It's all part of learning. And like, one of the most salient things I've ever heard anybody say in my motorsports career was during my time trialing and doing DEs and instructing at NASA. I can't remember what prompted somebody to explain this, but it was the race director came to some, maybe it was instructor clinic or something, but it was some kind of higher level NASA learning thing. And I remember the race director from the region came in and talked to us, and he said, wrecks happen. It's not a big deal when a wreck happens, but what is a big deal is I want that driver to be, I want to go see that driver and then to come see me after a big enough damaging incident. And I want to talk to them, and I want it to be clear to me that they know what happened.
Right.
You know, either you're not medically damaged, you don't know what happened from being medically damaged, or, you know, even worse, if you're cogent and you're medically fine and you still can't explain to me why you crashed the car, you know, into the bridge at turn 7, then we need some more remediation. We got to figure out whether you belong as a competitor or not. You know, so that was his big thing. His big thing was crashes happen, incidents are going to happen. People are going to try to occupy the same space on track. There's always going to be conflicts. Everybody's trying to race for a win, so somebody's going to go off the track and hit something. But it's a big problem when you can't tell me why whatever it is happened.
Yeah.
You can't explain to me why it happened, or you don't have the headspace to go, this happened because of this. I can't explain to you what predicated this crash. Do I really belong to be out here? You know, so that made a lot of sense to me. You know, you've got to be able to at least describe to me what happened and why it happened, and you know how it went down. Something to think about.
Indeed.
If you have a big crash, you're just like, I can't believe the car did that to me. You may not be ready for the level you're trying to play at. You just can't fathom why so and so happened. You know,
are you starting your Jeff Foxworthy impersonation, Ben?
You might be a messed up driver.
All right. Well, I'm sure we've beaten this one a little bit. I'm sure we'll talk about it again. It's not a problem.
Nope.
Yeah, it's another one where it's great. If anybody's got a question or something else, something that we didn't talk about, we can, you know, hit us at, I want to say Garage Heroes and Training
at gmail.com.
Yep.
Hit that address and talk to us about it. You know, if you got any apprehensions or something like we obviously missed, let us know. We can jump right back on this topic and talk about whatever you hit us up with. We're always kind of casting about for stuff to talk about. We love nothing more than talking about stuff that you guys bring to us. We love having listeners, and we love hearing from y'all. So hit us up.
Absolutely. Awesome. Thank you, Ben.
Thanks for having me.